one line she did in one sketch where this social worker came around, and the social worker came in, and Kathy, who's been shouting at Harry, just suddenly drops it and puts on a sort of faux posh voice and says, "Is that a cup of tea?"
Oh, yes.
You just very, very laugh out loud, funny and stupid.
Mrs. Slav? She doesn't seem to be focusing very well.
Yeah, well, nor would you after half a bottle of scotch.
You've not been giving her alcohol.
Oh, of course not. She nicks it.
Everyone loved Wayne and Waynetta. And in real life, someone who gave a fag to a baby would be a monster, but he made them into lovable characters. And that was his secret. He could do really quite hard material. That was hard material for prime time on BBC One, and everybody laughed at it. I imagine even the Waynes and Waynettas were out there laughing.
Frogmella came up to me the other day and said, "Why haven't I got a brown sister like all the other kids?" Nearly broke my heart. All the other mums have got at least one brown baby, and I want one. And for that I need a big black man, and that ain't you, Wayne.
But our kids are brown.
But that's not the same, is it, Wayne? That's dirt.
Hello everyone and welcome to another Fowl Original, the Fowl Original. I love Wayne and Waynetta. I think that it's amazing. Hello Brian, how you doing? Wayne and Waynetta are some of my favourite characters in it. I'm smoking a fag. And I murdered that impression. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. So hello everyone, welcome to another Fowl Original with me, good old Fowl Original. On the internet, live here tonight on Periscope, YouTube's and the Twitch. And hopefully my chat box is working. Hello there. Oh, hello there, your boy there. Yes, Harry Enfield. You know, classy guy here doing the classy things. Now, number one, as I said, I want to try and make these half-an-hour shows half an hour, because that would be amazing. Now, today's top story is this, because I read this, I was like, jeez. Fowl Original was impressed. I am impressed. Looks like the chat box is working properly for me here, so I can see what you guys are saying. But we've got a lot to get through, so I'm going to get straight to it. Today is Thursday, the 11th of October, 2018. The time is 10:30. I'm working with the format at the moment. I'm playing with the format. The time is 10:38. We're a little bit late. Yesterday we had some technical difficulties. And yeah, it's we're working on it. I'm fixing it. Things are being put in place. I've also done some really cool stuff that hopefully you should be seeing in the future. Put a shout out to anyone out there on the Periscope timeline and Twitter. Like, I'm going to be putting out a Follow Friday tonight at midnight, and I hope that everyone sees this show as well, because I got a little bit of like mini wrestling news. Anyway, let's get straight to it. Waffling on too long. But if you like waffles and you like to help me get waffles, but not me particularly get waffles, this is for people that have no more waffles. For November, I will be keeping my face naked. As you can see, like right now, my face is relatively naked. You all know me with a beard. I've been a bearded man for a long, long time, but I will have no beard. I will be beardless. And I will be growing a mustache. I'm growing this mustache there are several different things that you can do. Motivation specifically for growing this mustache. My motivation is that it is for a really good cause. Globally, the rate of suicide is alarmingly high, particularly in men. Too many men are toughing it out, keeping their feelings to themselves and struggling in silence. Fowl Original was born out of a need to kind of vocalize a lot of things that were going on. And it's been amazing. A lot of people I know have anxieties and stuff and can't really necessarily do that and don't have this kind of outlet. And I thank each and every one of you every single night for allowing me to chat at you in different various ways. But the Movember Foundation is aiming to reduce the rate of male suicide by 25% by 2030. And I want to help them get there. Help me stop men dying too young. I've put the first post on the page, which is just literally a little post. I'll be putting pictures up there every single day during Movember of my face in different places. There will be faces in places. That'll be on the Instagram as well. And I'm looking to raise just £1,000. £1,000 isn't a lot, I feel. And it's not for me. As I said, this is for people that are in need. I'll do my normal shilling, but I felt like a nice from the heart shill would be nice. Also, again, thank you, Mr. Matthew Hardy and Mr. Jeffrey Nero Hardy, for retweeting me out. Thank you very much. Hello there, Juan Vizquias. Juan. So today's top story: Marks and Spencer stock hijabi school uniform. So I had a top story before now, yeah, that I had in the Metro before came in. This story trumps that story. No pun intended. We'll get to Trump later. But Marks and Spencer stock hijabi school uniform. So I saw this on Twitter and I was like, what the bloody hell is this? So let's just take it to I've got a little taste, obviously, of what the picture looks like. It looks like a. We'll come back to the editorial after the facts, but here we go. So this is on Twitter. Marks and Spencer's criticised for selling school uniform hijabs. The chain store has come under fire for advertising hijabs that come in small enough sizes for a 3-year-old on their website. M&S said they are responding to requests from schools to stock the item. Now that's the hijab in its glory, all its glory. Glory be to... No, that's controversial. Marks and Spencer's are under fire for selling a school uniform hijab for children as young as 3 at Majid Nawaz. Majid Nawaz has criticised Marks and Spencer's for selling school uniform hijabs. That's on LBC, known primarily for Katie Hopkins. So, I mean, come on, they're already going to have a bit of a right-leaning, and this is not a good look for Marks and Spencer's. But I'm going to give you a little editorial after this and a little straw man argument from an Asian man. But Marks and Spencer sell school uniform hijabs for girls as young as 6. This is an abomination. This is extremist Islamism and not a Quranic requirement for young Muslim girls at primary school. No. And that's from The Sun, from Julia Hartley Brewer. And M&S said, we provide bespoke uniforms for 250 schools across the country, and they tell us which items they need as part of their school uniform list. For a number of schools this year, they requested the option of the hijab. You're really doubling down on this. You made it available under essential schoolwear for everyone. Your own verified account replied to @ProLiberalT by advising that medium size for 3-year-olds, twitter.com, and they've got like a reference. So how young are the girls intended for your small size? And then Yasmin Mohammed, F you so much, Marks and Spencer. From the bottom of my heart, sincerely, F you. It's difficult for me to not get emotional when the topic is job. This confusion from the West is so infuriating. Here's an article where I'm a little more eloquent on the topic. And there's an article there from the National Post. Rita Panahi, Yasmin escaped Islamism. Her own mother threatened to kill her for not wearing hijab. Meanwhile, at Marks and Spencer's market these tools of oppression. The news article is to trigger heated debate and incense those who frankly don't like Muslims. If there is a market, then there is a profit. M&S is a business, not a political organisation. Totally agree. Jermaine, totally agree with you. I'm not in favour of the hijab, but this is stimulated by Majid for his own political purposes. Is not constructive. Can we take a step back? And so on, and so on, and so on, and so on. I'm not going to really just read. To be honest, I buy hijab from random Chinese sellers on eBay. That is true Asianism in action. But what I wanted to just as a general, hello there, Rich Mount and Math Diesel. What I wanted to say about this was, as an Asian, but not an Asian girl, thank God. But yeah, as an Asian man, I'm very, very lucky. I didn't have to deal with any of that. Ish. On YouTube. Keep it classy. But I don't really understand why this is an issue, because if you just do, like, I just figured out, like, I saw this article and I was like, "Ruh," and then I was like, oh, but it makes perfect sense. As an Asian, yeah, I went to the homeland in the mid-2000s. I also went to the homeland in the 90s. When I went in the 90s, there was a lot of talk about Marks and Spencer's. We turned up with Marks and Spencer's sweaters. And there were a lot of people that were like, oh, Marks and Spencer's. They were very, very happy with the quality of the sweaters that we got them from fricking Marks and Spencer's. This, like, above everything else that we came over with, was like it was the thing, yeah. It was the thing that they'd go to. I remember them like having these sweaters, yeah, freaking roasting outside, and they go out and they're like, oh, Marks and Spencer. People like showing it off, like the label. I then also found out, obviously, that a lot of Asian women went to Marks and Spencer's for the booby stuff, for the breasts, for the bras. Hello there, la worstita. Worstia de la Twitter. Yeah, so they get a lot of bras, and I remember like constantly Asian women in my family going to Marks and Spencer's. Yeah, and then they go to a section on their own while you guys had to go and like hang out in the toys area. That's fine. I don't care. I like toys. I love toys. I love toys more than boobs. No, that's a lie. I love toys more than bras. Nah, I don't wear bras. Anyway, because of that, I remember thinking like having this like connection to Marks and Spencers, and any time that I went on to the Homeland in the mid 2000s, that was the funniest time, because I remember there were members of my family that were sewing in Marks and Spencers labels into sweaters, and it was like full circle. And I remember thinking, oh my god, like they want to wear these, they're getting paid like £4 a month for like sewing in these labels into Marks and Spencers. Were they selling knockoffs? I don't know. Were they selling to Marks and Spencers? I also don't know. But either way, I know that like the thing that they aspired for was the thing that they produced. It was very interesting. But anyway, the Marks and Spencer stock. So Marks and Spencers are a business, pure and simple. Marks and Spencers, all they want to do is make a dat of money. 250 schools have requested that they produce what, I guess like 100 or 200 uniforms each. So that's what, 4,000, 40,000? Yeah, it's 40,000 uniforms produced. No, it's 4,000. My maths a bit off there. Way. 200 times 100. It's 4,000. So that's 4,000 uniforms, so 4,000 hijabs. And if they're for schools, then maybe they get them, you know, like this is simple maths. That's a very big production line. If they're just buying them from eBay and selling them on there as well, even cheaper for Marks and Spencer. The quality, I'm guessing, it doesn't really matter because they're hijabs. But I mean, it shows that they're catering to a market that exists, and it shows that Asians are still going to Marks and Spencers. And I'm guessing that if you went to an Islamic school, then it would be very, very fashionable to say that you could get the hijab from Marks and Spencers. It's not really a bad PR stunt. If anything, it gives Marks and Spencers that liberal kind of edge. And I mean, it needs it really, doesn't it? I mean, M&S food is fantastic, but I'm guessing M&S hijabs aren't that great. I apologize for all the technical issues tonight. As I said, we're having some technical difficulties with the internet. But I have been told that apparently Sky, if you're on 38 megabits per second, you're now going to get free upgrade to 67. So maybe these shows will start working again. Sorry for this strange news round tonight. But as I said, playing with the format. So that's top story tonight. Marks and Spencer stock hijab school uniform. So then let's bring you into the second story, which is also our top story for tonight, messing with the format. US intelligence knew about the Turkish journalist allegedly killed by the Saudi government. But firstly, obviously I've done my shill for Fowl Original's charity campaign at the moment. Haven't done one for Fowl Original though. Bam! If you go to fowloriginal.com, you will see my big old bird face. When you see my big old bird face, you can go ahead and scroll down here and click support the channel. Then you click support the channel, give you some options. You can go to Patreon, you can go to streamlabs.com/FowlOriginalWrestling, or you can click the button which will pop up here in a second, the donate button. There's a PayPal button, there it is, bam. And you click that donate button, it will take you through to a PayPal page where you can go ahead and donate, say $5. Make that a monthly donation to help to produce content, to help me to produce content on a monthly and weekly basis with my ghetto setup. And if you like my content and you feel like it is worth something to your time, then it would be awesome if you could go ahead and give Fowl a little bit of that do-re-mi's. If you make it a one-off donation, also just let me know who you are. So we're all like, I am the leader. I am the leader. And that would be awesome. And as I said, either way, even if you don't donate, please like, share, subscribe, follow if you're on Twitch. If you're on Twitch, I guess subscribe to me, but like that doesn't really work just yet unless I'm a Twitch partner. I don't know what's happening with that, like with Twitch. I'm not really gaming enough. Periscope is my like bread and butter, I guess, and I love it. I love it, and I love all of you. But U.S. intelligence knew about Turkish allegedly killed by the Saudi government. So I'm gonna bring you that story, like this, like this. Here we go. It's in a really weird. Here we go. Let's get the one from CNN, because like all the other ones are very, very biased, and that's what I've kind of been trying to find the right one. So anyway, this is from CNN.com. So this is edition. Here we go. So this story updated today at 9:37. So fresh off. I was going to say fresh off the boat, fresh off the news. Forensic expert and former diplomat among Saudi team probed by Turkish officials. So, Turkish authorities believe 15 Saudi men who arrived in Istanbul on October 2nd were connected to the disappearance and possible murder of Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi. I know, congratulations to me. At least some of them appear to have high-level connections in the Saudi government. I didn't kill him, but I'm saying I successfully was able to pronounce his name. Sabah, a pro-government private newspaper in Turkey, on Tuesday listed 15 names alongside photographs of men who authorities believe were flown into Istanbul from Riyadh. The state-run Anadolu news agency later published similar details on 8 of the individuals. Turkish officials contend that their mission was the premeditated killing of Khashoggi and that Khashoggi was killed inside the consulate. One source told the New York Times that he was dismembered with a bone saw. It's gruesome, man. 2 sources familiar with the investigation confirmed to CNN that the 15 men listed by the 2 publications were of interest in the ongoing criminal investigation launched by Turkish prosecutors. At least some of the men flew in on private jets from Riyadh on the same day that Khashoggi, a former Saudi royal court insider turned critic, entered the Saudi consulate in Istanbul. He has not been seen in public since. Saudi Arabia firmly denies any involvement in the disappearance of Khashoggi and say he left the consulate that afternoon. One of the Saudi team was identified by Turkey's official Anadolu agency in Sabah as Salah Mohammed al-Tubaiki. He is listed on an official Saudi health website as the head of the forensic medicine department at the Interior Ministry. He received his master's degree at the University of Glasgow, according to the website. An October 2014 article in the state-aligned Sharq al-Awsan included a picture of a Tubaki in uniform. The author of the article identified him as a lieutenant colonel. So a lot of these people, as I said, there's a few of these people in here, and I wanted to just generally skim along it because the Saudi-owned Al Arabiya network said the Sabah newspaper photo that claimed to show Tubaki on the day of Khashoggi's disappearance was an old photo of a Saudi citizen, Salah al-Tubaki, on vacation with his wife. If the Turkish officials are correct in their identification, it offers further indication of high-level Saudi links to Khashoggi's fate. On Thursday, a US official familiar with the intelligence told CNN that the US had intercepts of Saudi officials discussing a plan to lure Khashoggi back to Saudi Arabia and detain him. It is unclear if there was ever a plan to kill him or if something went awry at the consulate, the official said. He added the plan to get Khashoggi to the Istanbul consulate was a backup, given the failure to lure him back to Saudi Arabia. In a statement to CNN on Wednesday, a Saudi official said the kingdom categorically denies any involvement in Jamal's disappearance. At this stage, our priority is to support the investigation, as opposed to responding to evolving comments not directly related to those efforts, the official said. So that is the official word from CNN about what happened. Now, the extra to that is that the US intelligence knew that the Saudi government had carried this out. Now, this is something which has been claimed that Donald Trump had some connection to because of the soft way in which he treats the Saudis, that allegedly this may have caused everything that happened. This may have caused a culture where things were let slip. My general editorial on this is, because as I said, I want to try to keep this to half an hour. We're already almost at the half an hour mark. Might have to stretch this out 40 minutes. But I think that potentially, yes, this does affect also a show that I do. We'll be doing WWE Saudi, and there's Saudis are untouchable. It's true. Now, the WWE Crown Jewel has been brought. It's an event that's happening in Saudi Arabia. The WWE have a 10-year deal, and it's the implication that's come in from of a wrestling pundit is that, just give you the Newsround version of this, from a wrestling pundit, has said that if the Saudi government the Saudi government have allowed, or the Saudi government have signed this deal like they've signed it directly with the WWE. This isn't like another company. Now, that means that it's a 10-year deal. A lot of money was paid for this. And the new deal has been that they've changed arenas and all this stuff, and they're kind of, the Saudi government are working on it. The WWE said that they'd be part of the solution, but if this murder has occurred, then this would be the same as, and I mean, I put this in, I wanted to put this into kind of context for people like of my age, but this would be like if the WWE went and did a show in, and I'm not saying that it's the same extreme, but went and did a show for Saddam Hussein while he was in power. I'm not saying that they are apples and apples. These are apples and oranges, but it's going to a person who has, well, a country who have produced a known, because it's really different with every other kind of like country, because the Saudi kingdom have said like, we are making this deal with the WWE. All the shows are presented by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. They're not presented by any other sponsors. They own the show. They have a 10-year deal with the WWE. There was supposed to be like deals happening with Disney and all these big American multinational corporations, which, if this is true and if this investigation goes through and it's found that there were some leanings or there was some failings on the part of US intelligence and the US Democratic, well, the Republican Party, then maybe this is the time to impeach Trump. I mean, there are so many times where it's like, you should impeach him, but then maybe this is a smear campaign. There's a lot of fake news out there, but what is true is that this journalist went into the Saudi consulate and he didn't come out. Well, allegedly he did, leave in the afternoon. They said that, but I mean, him leaving in a body bag is the same as him leaving that afternoon, isn't it? And the British, yes, Brian, the British government have massive oil deals. Every country around the world are octopusly linked to the Saudi economy in some way. If that's for oil, if that's for like, if that's for like goods now as well, like expensive goods, it's really strange. And I don't know what's going to happen for Crown Jewel. I mean, the only thing that's very specific in Saudi Arabia is that there will be no people protesting outside that goddamn arena. But there may be people protesting here. Maybe, like, I wonder if we'll get a lot of that happening at Evolution. I mean, it's an all-women's pay-per-view, which is not really sold out, so maybe it is going to be full of specifically the demographic that will be like, no women in Saudi Arabia. Like, because that's the thing. Like, there've been loads of things that are like haven't broken this deal. And it's like, no women. Okay, Sami Zayn now because he might cause racial tensions, and it's like sensitive to local customs. Okay, cool. So if the local custom is that you can kill journalists if they say bad things about you, please don't. No one ever, please. Like, come on. I'm just reading the news, so just leave me alone. But I'm not like investigating anything. I'm just reading the news that other people have said. I'm quoting it. But those kind of deals. They're hard to break. They're hard to break. And I don't know if the WWE, like, no women allowed, no Sami Zayn, no showing of women. Oh, hello, Bucks. No showing of women. None of that stuff. And then you think, hello, welcome to Newsround. But that is weird. So if the WWE Crown Jewel show doesn't happen, thanks for inviting your followers. If Crown Jewel doesn't happen, Aleph Hinny, hello, oh, you're a bot. Hello there, holy-ish. But yeah, so the US government knew. So that is the end of the 2 news stories that we've got from today. So let's take you to our next segment, which is one of my personal faves. It's one of my personal faves. The show is only going to be half an hour tonight, but I'm gonna stretch it to 40 minutes because I didn't have a show yesterday. Technical difficulties. So let's go to. I think actually maybe I can do this on this. Let's freak you all out. Let's make the chat massive. Because, like, I think it deserves to be massive. Oh, do that, then. Well, if I do this, I'll do that. So I'm just doing things. You'll see. Let's just bring this all the way to the bottom. Where am I? Come on. You're trying to do stuff at the wrong time. Bam! That looks pretty sweet. Metro moments. I think you guys can see the chat now, can't you? Like, I can probably see the chat from here now. But got a copy of the Metro here. Oh, there we go. Got a copy of the Metro. And today's Metro. Ooh, it's juicy stuff here. It's juicy stuff. Come over here. There we go. Juicy stuff. I'll get the chat as well. It's Metro moments right now, Bucks. It's Metro moments right now. So today's Metro moments, yeah, is like number one, local news. Yeah, it's great. So today's Metro moments is so this is the front page of the Metro. Armed cops heist and Sikh bank farce. Fantastic story. Staff seen crouching under desks were playing game. Yeah, we're not talking about that, Bucks. No, it's Metro moments. Chillax. Staff seen crouching under desks were playing game. Armed police stormed a bank amid fears of a robbery. Of a robbery. Of a robbery. Only to discover embarrassed staff were playing a game of hide and seek. Officers were called when a passerby spotted workers crouching under their desks at the NatWest branch in busy Birmingham city centre yesterday. So this is yesterday, yeah. But it turned out, far from dodging a gun-wielding raider, the employees were playing the child's game in a team-building exercise. Chief Inspector Dave Keane explained the mix-up in a tweet and thanked the passerby, saying, contacting us was the right call. Police colleague Kenny Bell quipped on Twitter, coming, ready or not. But, now there is more. There's a whole other page of this. So let's look what the hell happened here, because just imagine this, yeah. Like, of course it would have happened. Not just that, yeah, but, like, the reason why it happened, when I, like, it's hard to do things wearing sunglasses. But, alright, page 2. For God's sake, page 2. Oh, there we go. We need, like, one more bit. So, David tweeted back, joking aside, what did the bank think when they saw workers cowering under their desks in a busy city centre? Idiots. Birmingham resident Connor Smith added, bet they got a right shook when the police turned up. NatWest confirmed the alert just before 10 a.m. at the branch in the Colmore Road business district with a full... That's the worst place they could have ever played that game, yeah? Colmore Road in Birmingham. How bloody stupid could it be? Like, that's the kind of place where people would be like, oh, yeah. Like, I know exactly where that NatWest is as well. That's why I don't bank with NatWest. Stupid. Like, they're so stupid, NatWest. They lose loads of people's bank, like, details and stuff, and they're making people, like... And then, like, allegedly, I can't remember that story, but then stupid stuff like this, people like, okay, make it look like you're scared that people are trying to find you, yeah? And the building, NatWest confirmed, it said bosses would speak to the members of the public involved to ensure that they all learn from this incident. So the guy outside said, don't tell on us when we're playing hide and seek in the bank. How bored were they in that bank that they were playing hide and seek? Oh, you should change banks books. I mean, if anything, yeah, that shows you, like, the level of their actual competency. That, number one, yeah, the biggest story out of this is that somebody found them. Somebody found all of them. So they're even crap at hide and seek. Crap bank, crap at hide and seek. Isn't it? Absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. Now, going through Metro today, I saw some funny things. So, as I said, like, I'm going to give you, like, a little bit of a taste of what I read this morning when I was reading the Metro. So, also got, where is this? Okay, this is a funny one. This is just funny. Visa loophole lets £3 billion of dirty money into the UK. This is an amazing story. Again, shows the government competency all the time. A loophole is a golden visa scheme for the super rich, where the super rich were allowed thousands of individuals to bring at least £3 billion of dirty money into the UK, potentially dirty money, researchers found. Around 3,000 foreigners, many from high corruption risk. We're going to say Nigeria, really, aren't we? Risk countries were allowed residency in exchange for a £2 million investment. That's amazing. So you can basically buy yourself a visa for £2 million. That's pretty cheap. I wonder if I could sell my stake to the UK for £2 million. I'd sell it for £2 million and move out somewhere. That's fine. I'd move to Nigeria. Yeah, exactly, a loophole, yeah. But the Home Office and banks assumed, and this is what I mean, the Home Office and the banks, both sides, assumed for 7 years that the other department had checked whether the wealth was acquired legitimately. claimed anti-corruption campaigners, Transparency International UK. So basically, that is a case of the banks going, oh, it's okay, the government checked them. And the government saying, it's okay, the banks checked them. And neither side for 7 years going, hey, you know that, like, that guy with the monocle that walked in the other day, yeah? That guy with the monocle and the big bag of money and the blood on his hands, yeah? Like, do you know where he got his money from? And like, yeah, obviously, tell me who it is. Don't lie to me. No, I thought, oh crap, what are we gonna do? We did get the £2 million pounds though, right? And that is like clear. Yes. Well, I mean, you know, we live and we learn. Live and we learn. That's an amazing story I read. And look at the column inches that are given to that story. That is the story. Yeah. I mean, just like you can blink and miss these things on the metro sometimes. And not gonna read that story because it's quite sad. Now, obviously, we've got the stuff about Sean and his squeeze, but I don't even want to talk about it. Like, be honest, like it's so stupid. Like, I don't even watch Strictly. I'm not gonna. Big Brother was different. Yeah, Big Brother's a big deal. I will watch Big Brother. Not Strictly. Not anymore. Not since Brucey. When Brucey was there, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, exactly, Brian. And that's what happened. £2 million to invest in the country, and then whatever you want to buy, and then they just bought all the nice properties. So this is another story which I thought was quite fun. And this is a cabin crew for Virgin who all dressed in drag. Artists. Virgin drag queens crew pride flight. The stewardesses may look a little more glitzy than the usual when Virgin Holidays and Virgin Atlantic invite passengers on a one-off pride flight. Drag queens will join Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt actor Titus Burgess, Andromedon. I love that guy. Titus Burgess to host the journey from London to New York in June. It will mark World Pride coming to the Big Apple 50 years after a police raid on a gay bar there sparked the Stonewall riots credited with starting the gay liberation movement. The pilots and crew will be LGBT+, and passengers have been promised a drag queen bingo, a Judy Garland sing-along, and speed dating in the skies. I love it. It's absolutely amazing. Now, this is another story which I thought, because no, it's kind of funny, but it's not as good as that story. And then we've obviously got, what I like though is by this point, this is now on page 7, all this stuff, yeah, because it's, at the end of the day, it's only Strictly. So even the Metro have stopped caring. So like, I'm not gonna. It's like football is. What I like though is that the presenter Susanna Reid was like, "Oh, it's all right. We've all had a little snog at the end of the night," and then it's like, "No, you all haven't. I retract my statement." That was fantastic. Just watching it from a media point of view. What else have we got? This is a good one as well. There's a lot of I'm gonna say there's a lot of Metro is for everyone. Listen, a lot of metrosexual stuff to do. So there's this story as well. About this cake. You want to see the cake? Where's the cake? Cool. Oh. There's the cake. Can you see? Can you see the cake? Can you see the cake? It's Bert and Ernie cake. Cunningham meant to go. Well, we are going to talk about it as our finisher, but like, I mean, I don't really want to talk about Kanye. Like, that's the thing. I don't want to give you any more column inches. I want to try and keep this show succinct. But Christian Baker's in final victory over gay marriage cake. But first, if you want to help me buy gay marriage cake, because you know I may want to have a gay marriage sometime. You don't know. You just don't know. It could be the gayest marriage you ever see, and you know how am I going to pay for that marriage? If you go to fowloriginal.com, you will see my big old bird face. You see my big old bird face, you can go down to support the channel. If you also like to peruse the website, there are stuff on there. So you've got the weekly wrestling recap from yesterday night and all of them stacked up. I've also got my Instagram posts here. But if you go to support the channel, I mean, I'll be changing some of this stuff now. I've already been making a few changes, soft changes, tonight before the show, which is why I was a little bit late on it. You can go to Patreon, go to streamlabs.com/wrestling. You can also go and click the donate button, which is the easiest and most efficient way to do this. If you click the donate button, it will take you to a PayPal donation page. It will in time take you to a PayPal donation page. Due to my hilarious internet, I think our internet is speeding up, which is why we've been having some weird issues. Anyway, you can go ahead and say, give me $5 a month. That, for example, if you want to know what that would cover the website and hosting for a month. So you'd be helping keeping fowloriginal.com up, and the thing that I'm shilling every single day. You can make it a monthly donation to help support me on a monthly basis for all the different content that I create. That's from here, Fowl Original Wrestling, and all the weird stuff I do on Instagram and anything else that I'm up to. And everything does go towards the show. It does. And if you want to give it a one-off donation, you can be like, hey, I'm Goldberg. And I'll be like, Adam Goldberg, thank you very much. That will be a one-off donation, and I'll know who that is. Thank you very, very much. And apologies for that quick commercial interruption. But back to in other news, Metro moments. So Christine Baker's in final victory over gay marriage cake. Bakers at the centre of the so-called gay cake case have spoken of their delight and relief after winning their appeal in the UK's highest court. The MacArthur family, who are Christians, did not discriminate against a customer by refusing to make a cake with the slogan, "Support gay marriage," the Supreme Court in London ruled. 5 judges unanimously allowed the challenge by the family, who run Asher's Bakery in Belfast. The action was brought by activist Gareth Lee, who won his case at County Court and then at the Northern Ireland Court of Appeal. But the MacArthurs challenged those rulings at a Supreme Court hearing in Belfast and in May. Speaking after yesterday's ruling, the bakery's general manager, Daniel MacArthur, said the Supreme Court emphatically accepted what we've said all along. We did not turn this order down because of the person who made it, but because of the message itself. I know a lot of people will be glad to hear this ruling today because it protects freedom of speech and freedom of conscience for everyone. Mr. Lee of LGBT advocacy group Queerspace ordered the £36.50 cake featuring Sesame Street puppet Bert and Ernie for a private function in 2014, marking International Day Against Homophobia. Very ironic. His order was accepted and he paid in full, but 2 days later, the company called to say it could not proceed due to the message he requested. Mr. Lee, who was supported by Northern Ireland's Equality Commission, said yesterday, "This was never about a campaign. I paid, my money was taken, and then a few days later it was refused. That made me feel like a second-class citizen. I'm concerned not just for the implications for myself and other gay people, but for every single one of us." In a statement announcing the court's decision, its president, Lady Hale, said the MacArthurs held the religious belief that the only form of marriage consistent with the Bible and acceptable to God is between a man and a woman. She said, as in Mr. Lee's claim based on sexual discrimination, the bakers did not refuse to fulfill his order because of his sexual orientation. Their objection was to the message on the cake. Now, I, in this particular one, read the article several times today on the news, on the bus. I get the bus. Several days on the bus. And it was really weird to read about this case being reported very, very fairly about a case where people have won, a company, a business has won, not because I think that their fear was that that this party would happen and then they would get an influx of gay customers. And so in Mr. Lee's case, the advocacy group leader, he was doing the thing that he felt he was being discriminated against because of his sexual orientation. But they refused to print a message, which, I mean, that could happen in Asda. I mean, imagine if you went to Asda and tried that. Like, Asda would probably just print it because it's like just a sticker, they don't care. But this guy might have like Instagrammed it and said, hashtag got this from Asher's Bakers, and then maybe that was what their fear was. But at the same time, they are a private business who have a choice to say no to people based on nothing whatsoever. They can just say no. There is no intrinsic relationship between people when they go into a shop. People can say, I have the right to refuse service. I don't agree with it, and it isn't a win for free speech. It's definitely not a win for free speech. But in another way, it kind of is, because it means now that they weren't, because there's that point where precedent is set by something that's happened before. Now they can basically say no to anything. Imagine if they became the erotic cake bakery because of messages like that. Like, they would hate it and they wouldn't want to do it, and they have a viewpoint where their cakes are probably like sunshines, lollipops, and railroads, everything, and that's what they need to be, and that's what they are. I don't think it's a win for anyone, for either side really, but it does show that, I guess, if you take it to the highest courts, you can win. And it also shows that there is still, I think it's ironic that the cake was for protesting homophobia and homophobia awareness, and it basically proved it. So £36.50 was well spent. And this story as well, there's some very depressing stories in the Metro, but I'm going to briefly go on this one because of the end of it. So this is a story in the Metro about a thug who goes free after spray painting a homeless man with a water pistol filled with paint. Now, the story is terrible, and I haven't watched the video. I didn't want to show the video, but like, there you go. It's terrible. And they sprayed this guy because he was behind Tesco's and he was smoking spice. And he sprayed him, and then like a few days later, the guy was found, the person who was sprayed, the homeless man, Mr. Michael Cash, was found dead in a cemetery. Like, not like in a cemetery, he was already dead. And Aaron Jones was the man who did this. Apparently he wanted to film it on YouTube, put it on Facebook and YouTube, and the guard that was there with him refused to do it. Mr. Michael Cash just sat there and did nothing, just took this red paint all over him. Then Aaron Jones kind of left. There was some CCTV footage. And what I think is funniest about this, though, is that obviously the guy realised that, oh my God, everyone's going to hate me. It is like the McDonald's in America, is that everyone's going to, it is, isn't it? It is. There, people are being really, really harsh to homeless people. But here you go. So the guy, yeah, because he knows that there's going to be like hate on Facebook and stuff. And this guy lives on Facebook. He's on Facebook going, let's make this. He's going to be here much longer. Look, so that's the guy's face, because he's obviously stupid, because they know that he's on Facebook. We get pictures of him anyway. He went to court wearing a Frankenstein green mask. Why? Just why? Was he that scared that people were going to like hate on him? Because they are. Because Mr. Aaron, you killed a man, allegedly. But the court found that he didn't kill him and that the guy died of natural causes. And he did get criminal, he admitted assault and criminal damage. And this is the kicker. He was given an 18-month community order and told to pay £270 worth of costs. So, end of day, a man's life is worth 18-month community order and £270 in costs. Where I'm guessing he goes around and cleans up spray paint. It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. Like, he didn't help his life. I mean, if the guy was already in a kind of like, you know, what's the worst that could happen, being moved on, ushed on, now you just, you know, how's he going to get that off? It's stuff like that. Like, people don't tend to realize is that I'm guessing if you're homeless, then how do you wash off spray paint if you're in a normal home situation? You're wrecking the bathroom and then you're wrecking the wall. Like, it's terrible news. But I think there's a picture of Cardi B's bum here, and I think that was everything I had from the Metro today, because went through the Metro, I read that story, I was like, it's going to take a long old time. There's some stories about Melania saying that she's bullied and stuff, and we're not going to talk about that. Obviously, Kanye's gone a little bit crazy and stuff, but I don't like, that's just Kanye. And I'd like to end this in other news Metro moment segment with this, going back to our top stories of tonight. Top stories of tonight. Marks and Spencer's stock hijabi school uniform. Never, ever, 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 ever thought I was going to say that sentence in my lifetime. But yes. And our other big story of the night was that US intelligence knew about the Turkish journalist allegedly killed by the Saudi government. Now, that's the end of Newsround tonight. I'd like to play you out with something, as I always do. And tonight, it is the end of a week. It is the end of this week. I'd like to say thank you. I'm thankful to every single person on Twitter so far. Seriously though, thank you so freaking much. I'm not counting it in a numbers thing, but it kind of is like for certain things that I want to do moving forwards. And I feel like I'm at a very nice the tipping point. I'm at the tipping point, which is why I'm going to play this next clip. But I'm at the tipping point of what could be something amazing. And I'm very, very thankful to all of you guys and girls out there for being on the ride with me so far. Here's to much more. Here's to much, much more. And that's from bottom of Fowl's blackened heart. Blackened heart. And I mean that sincerely, because like, I know that this said like a lot of cliche, but the show wouldn't exist if it wasn't for you people listening to my crazy. But if you want to help support the channel on an ongoing basis and see the other stuff that I'm doing, and it will be filled up, and I'm doing a bit of a soft relaunch. If anyone is out there that can use After Effects, I'm looking for a few secret project stuff that I'd love you guys to join, and that would be great. As I said, you can hear that this is real. It's real fun. But if you go to fowloriginal.com, you will see my big old bird face. When you see my big old bird face, you can go down to support the channel. If you click support the channel, it will bring you up to the Patreon, which will be fixed over this weekend. Serious. I finished early on Friday, so I'll be getting that stuff done. Come to Patreon, you go to streamlabs.com/fowloriginalwrestling to help support the wrestling portion of what I do, but that also, you can go to the donate button, which is the easiest and quickest way to do this. That'll take you to a PayPal page. And get into that PayPal page, you can go ahead and say, pop me along, $5 a month. That's the price of a cup of coffee. If you do it on a monthly basis, make it a monthly donation, you will allow me to create more of this craziness that you see ahead of you. And yeah, I can't wait to show you some of the stuff that I'm going to be doing soon. And you can also write a note and let me know who you are. So like, I am Roger Rabbit, and I'm rampant for justice. Yeah, you could have that. I'm Roger Rabbit and I'm rampant for justice. But let's leave you with, as I said, this is probably the tipping point of where we're going to be going moving forwards, and I'm so happy for it. So let's leave you with this. The one, and I'll leave you with the one show on the whole of the internet, mainly on YouTube, that gets itself copyright struck for no reason because he's stupid. But that's Fowl Original. That's what we do. So let's take you to this, which I'm hoping doesn't get copyright struck, but it probably will anyway. So I'm leaving you with this, which is ITV's The Tipping Point, because I'm an idiot, and you know, idiot things. But I'll leave you with ITV's The Tipping Point. And if you want to like, share, subscribe, follow if you're watching on Twitch, follow if you're watching on Periscope, I guess, as well. I'm going to try and get this chat to work a little. I think that worked a lot better tonight, so I'm going to have to zoom my face over a little bit, but maybe this will work. Maybe the show's getting built as we talk. I didn't even realize this. Maybe I need to have... Anyway, let's play this. Let's stop gabbing.
She putting herself in danger.
And as I
Find
said,
out later, but no, the luck of the drop is
well,
the name of the game.
If you want to help support the channel in many different ways, you can help by going to fowloriginal.com and supporting by liking, sharing, and subscribing to all the different things that I do. And you can also get this in a second when it starts, because god damn it, I've taken too long on this. But join me on Sunday for the weekly wrestling recap, where we're talking about wrestling stuff. And you can join me also. You can also join me on Monday for the next Newsround, and Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We'll be figuring out some film stuff to happen as well. So just keep an eye on my Twitter. If you've got my follow Friday tomorrow as well, that'll be happening just after midnight tonight. Please join the train. Choo choo. This is the tipping point of Fowl's career, and I'm happy that you're glad to hear. Join. There we go. This has been Fowl Original. Thanks for watching this time.